All right, so here we are with the Hot as Love podcast, episode one, and I'm a bit nervous. I don't know about you, Drew.
No, I'm fine.
You're fine. You're always pretty comfortable, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been uncomfortable streaming. It doesn't. I don't know.
Um, well, I don't know. I'm a pretty shy person, so but
I just don't
we're
really envision people listening to this. So I don't know. Maybe that's why.
well, it's just for me, public speaking's always been a bit of a fear for me. I remember one time in fourth grade, we had to do this big, um, like sea creature project. I don't know. Like we each had like a different animal, and we had to do like a big presentation. We had to do a PowerPoint and I think a poster board. And they took all the fourth grade classes and brought us to like this big room. And eventually, when it was my turn, and I had my flash drive with me in my pocket, and I was so scared to speak in front of all the fourth grade classes that I completely lied. I was just like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do the project. I'm sorry. And so I ended up having to do it at a different day. I've just always been nervous, but it got me out of doing it in front of everybody. I only did it in front of like just my class instead of like all. I think we had three classes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in sixth grade, I don't remember the context why, but I stood up and sang "Build Me Up, Buttercup," and I don't know. I've never been nervous since
Oh
to
wait, you did
speak
that
in
in
front
like
of
the
people.
middle of class?
It wasn't for no reason. There was a reason we were all talking about things and standing up, and that was what I chose to do. And I don't know. I just never been nervous since.
Oh my god, we should duet, and so I could butcher it like "Build me a buttercup," and then I just
It just
ruined the
wouldn't.
entire
It
song.
just wouldn't work because of our delay. Which is interesting because I was watching a podcast yesterday, and the two guys were singing, and they were in sync, and I was just like, "Is that a thing now where you aren't delayed from each other when you're
That
speaking?"
that is actually kind of incredible. Just the fact that one of them wasn't even roboting because recently, for those that are listening, all two of you that don't know, I used to do a different podcast called Kino Nomicon, and I don't. Maybe you remember, Drew, how many episodes we ended up doing? I think I did like 150 episodes of that show,
That was my
and
guess. Yeah.
yeah, something like that. And pretty much at least 3 to 5 times minimum per episode. One of us would robo, and yeah, it's
I
just kind
always
of a
like that
miracle.
joke you would make, like that one joke I always ask you to ask Mark about with The Simpsons, where you'd be like, "Oh, this is number 122 or 123, wink, wink," something like that.
Oh yeah, because there was like a Simpsons episode where they're like, "This is our big special episode 300," and then somebody made a joke in the episode like 302, and then I asked Mark about it, and he gave us like the big autistic answer. Well, wouldn't you know it? Something similar happened with Kinonomicon because we have a special Lost Media Kino episode, and then we have
Yeah.
an episode that technically wasn't an episode, even though it was exactly an episode, but it wasn't included in the numbering. So whatever the numbering of Kino Nomicon is, it's off by like two. So that's the history of Kino
Yeah.
Nomicon. I've been going through and re-uploading them, and we've got, I think this eighth episode is about to be uploaded again, and it's going to take me like 10 years to go through all of them. So because we're cutting out everything that we were talking about. So that show used to be live. So any dead air, any going robo, or any little mishaps like that are being edited out, um, as well as maybe a few reasons to cancel us. And that's why this podcast isn't going to be live. We're gonna it's just being recorded, and then I'll re-listen and I'll edit out anything that needs to be edited out. So Drew, I'm really happy to do this podcast with you, man.
Yeah,
I
me
know
too.
I know you didn't want to go through and do our whole like backstory introductions like it's the first day of school, but I do want to say, Drew, I can't believe it's been nearly 8 years, man. So Drew, you're the one that got me into collecting Blu-rays and stuff and DVDs. For anyone that doesn't know, that's a digital video disc. And damn, I can't believe it's been almost 8 years now, and I
But when I
still
met you,
remember.
Nasser, didn't you
Yeah,
have didn't you already have the infamous Nightmare on Elm Street 4 film collections by the time I met you though?
yes, because Okay, it's very the only physical media I had were just two things. It was the bare bones Nightmare on Elm Street that I refused to upgrade, and it's the It '90s miniseries. And
Right.
one of them was so when I got the Nightmare on Elm Street DVDs, somebody online, I think it was a comic book artist because I'm a former comic book writer, former somebody I wanted to make a comic book with was kind of bullying me like what do you mean you haven't seen all 15 sequels? And I was like I don't know, where do you watch them? Because I just wasn't a physical media guy. I didn't really know it really even existed, and he's like, just buy them here, look on eBay, they're so cheap. They were like $3 like shipped, back when everything used to be reasonable. and so I bought them, and I just remember reading the back of it, like special feature, interactive menu, and I'm just like, oh, we get an interactive menu on this thing. So that was that, and then the other one was I
Man,
actually,
interactive menus used to really be interactive, though.
for real, they did. And but the other one, the It miniseries, was I bought that one because I had some friends that lived like very far away from me. They were not Chicagoans. And I can't remember where we went, but I went to one of their neighborhoods that was far, and we went to a mall, and I think we stopped in maybe like a FYE or something, and that maybe that's what it was, and that It miniseries was like $5, and I was like, "Oh, a clown, this looks cool," and so that's I bought that, and that was all I had. And then you had just started, because I was a little embarrassed because I was like, "Yeah, I like horror movies," but with the asterisk of, but they had to be on Netflix. And you were recommending me all these movies, and I still remember the first one. You were like, "You haven't seen Reanimator?" And I was like, "What's a Reanimator?" And then me and my brother rented it on YouTube, I think for like $3. And yeah, that was the start of getting Drew picks. And it started with that one. I remember another early one was The Fly. You were like, "Oh my god, you haven't seen The Fly." And I was like, "No, I haven't seen The Fly." But I took that one too far because then I ended up watching the like three original ones, which are very boring.
Oh man,
Well,
yeah,
it was all in the big box set that I ended up
yeah, yeah.
buying. Yeah.
Those are three movies that I always said I'm not even gonna try. I'm not gonna like these.
Oh my god, dude! There's like nothing redeemable in any of them. Like the dude in the first one's got a big,
I've seen the clip, bro. I've seen
yeah.
the clip of the fly like help me. I was like, oh no, dude.
Well, he's got like the big like his head is a fly's head, so he can't even talk. So it's just him like going around like I don't know, flinching when people get scared of him. I'm trying to remember because it's been so long since I think that came out, that box set, in maybe in 2019, I think is when that came out. And I went through all of them with my brother, and oh my god, they're just like the worst movies. And oh my god, yeah. So I do really like the first Fly a lot, and the second one's pretty fun, but I've only seen that one once, and that was a long time ago. And yeah, the three original ones though, like just absolutely garbage. So
Mhm.
but yeah, it just it really became a thing because it's so funny. It was like in Curb, when Cheryl won't do anything without her therapist's like approval. That was like me buying Blu-rays because I was like, is Drew buying this? And then you would be like if there was a sale, you'd be like, yeah, I just got like these 5 movies in the sale. I'd be like, all right, these are the 5 I'm getting.
Yeah, somewhere along the lines though, you definitely took your own avenue because I never would have been like, oh, you got to get all the haunts BRs. You got to get televised horror, bro. Like I never would have suggested those.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, getting okay. So I know
Like
there's
it's good. I'm glad you did for the sake of Kino Namakan. I'm glad you did.
Okay. So yeah, there's some that I got that I know you were like, what the fuck did you buy this for? But in my defense, I was doing a stream for 150 episodes with my two co-hosts,
Yeah.
and sometimes if they would get something, I'd be like, I'm gonna get it too. Because it's a pretty awful stream if one person's like, oh, I just watched this thing, and the other
Yeah.
two are like,
It had a
okay.
purpose. It had a purpose.
Yeah.
Did you did you guys go through every Puppet Master movie? Like all of them?
No, I think we went through the first 5, and then the guys made fun of me because I said number 6 is not as good as the other ones, but I still actually found it a little enjoyable. But then,
Mm.
but you know what? It's so tough to talk about the ones after 6 because they pretty much all become clip shows. They just like I okay, I can't remember which one I watched up to. I think I watched Lord help me. I think I might have watched the first 9 Puppet Masters.
Mm.
And they become clip shows with like a, a little bit of like just a like maybe like 5 minutes at best of like original scenes like to string them together, but it's so like incomprehensible. You have no idea what they're trying to do. You know how Uncle Charlie is. He's like, okay, I read a few Puppet Master comic books, and it was so funny because I remember I think I opened up like issue 2, and it starts out reusing like the first pages of issue 1.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah. Uncle Charlie will just run that footage into the ground. If he says, if he like figures out like, all right, I have enough money to shoot like 10 minutes. I can't make a 10-minute short film. He'll just be like, oh, perfect. I'll just I'll just use all the film we already have.
No,
Like
that makes that's oh, I forgot what I was gonna say, but it was something about uh I'm sorry, go ahead, I forgot.
no, yeah, it's just that's just the way the Puppet Master sequels get. I think I watched up to 9, and I just think out of 7, 8, and 9, I think maybe like 2 of them became clip shows, and then one of them is not a clip show, but I just could not follow it to save my life.
Oh,
Oh, and
I
then
remember
also
what
I
I was
did.
gonna say.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I always loved that he was like, "All right, guys, we're gonna do 4K," and he did 2 of them, and he's like, "Man, fuck this, never mind."
Oh, and
And I'm really glad that he chose to not continue with that stuff.
I will say also that the Puppet Master remake reboot. I don't know the difference.
The
That one
Littlest
was
Reich,
yeah, that one was fun.
I like that movie. Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So yeah, that might be like the only like good Puppet Master they've made since the first few. So
it always
yeah.
makes me laugh when someone's like, because I guess it's just one of those franchises that people who are like, like generic collectors who just grab what everyone tells them to. It's one of those franchises people think they need the whole collection for, like without realizing what they devolve into. And it always makes me laugh when someone's like, "Yeah, and I picked up Blade: The Iron Cross. I'm really looking forward to this." I'm like, "Oh my god, it's the worst one."
Oh my god, I didn't even watch that one. I had a copy of it, but I sold it because I did the big selling off, which I've done like maybe I don't know like 10 times now, where I'm like I'm cutting my collection in half, but I'm still
Hmm.
like holding on to some things. I'm like maybe it won't be garbage this time.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so I don't know, Puppet Master, I think though it maybe it only cost me like maybe like $40. I think the little like, I don't have like the real like fancy like the chest one, but I have the like smaller box set one that I don't know how many movies are in it.
it
Like what are
was
the like
typically about $60, I think, because you could get it if you did the full moon subscription service for a year. And me and Alex did that a lot. Like that's how I was able. Oh wow, I just remembered. It was one of speaking of unhauling. I recently sold my Evil Bong box set. Yeah, because like
oof.
those movies, they're fun. They're all very wash, rinse, repeat. But it's just one of those things where I'm like, I really don't need to watch these again. Like they're just not of value to like. There's infinite things I'd rather watch than Evil Bong. If it's not to shade the movies. They're fun. They're just not that rewatchable. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah, I've never seen those ones, but I
Like
can. I can.
what they give you some kind of comedic performances, a lot of TNA, but it's not like um the kind of TNA I can't live without. It's not like it's super sleazy. It's just kind of like, oh, they took their top off. Like it's cool, but it's like I don't
Right,
need
it's
to
no
see it
Evil
again.
Tunes.
Now, Evil Tunes has a lot going on with it. That's a great movie.
Yeah, Evil Tunes, like, no matter how, pretentious I get in my film taste, I will always have that soft spot for Evil Tunes.
Well, see, the thing is like, and I'm sure if you follow him on Facebook, you know this. Like, Fred Olen Ray is a cinema, guy. Like, he
Yeah.
knows film, he loves film. So even though he's making silly B movies, he's not doing it with like no direction or like no love for the craft. Like, and I love whenever he talks about the process of what it was like filming those movies back in the day. It's never like, yeah, they just showed up and I was like, yeah, just act stupid. Like, it's never like that. He always has really great insight when he talks about them.
You know, I made a meme the other day of like movies then versus now, and or I think it was actually specifically horror movies, and the thing was about like movies then, the directors could name you like every Fellini movie,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly. That was
yeah.
a great meme. I actually didn't know you might have said this. I didn't know that you made that one. That was a brilliant meme.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I made that
That was
one.
great. It was funny. It was like nothing better than the weak one being like has to stop and talk about their feelings every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
so yeah, like the weak one is like, Is it okay to write?"
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, like, you know what? There's, like, certain, like, sleazy movies where, like, you could tell that, like, the guy that made it is an actual film fan versus, like, even no matter how, like, sleazy, schlocky, or even just flat dumb it is, like, you could just tell. You could tell,
Yeah,
like
like Jim Wynorski is another good example of this. And I mean, this is not to say like both Jim and Fred have their era of just making product, if you will, for their times.
yeah.
Like, and I like that stuff just because it does interest me. I like watching their softcore stuff from the 2000s, but they have proven themselves so much, like with the movies they made in the 80s and 90s, like and a lot of them, you know that they grew up loving 50s B movies and stuff. They all have made their own versions of like Attack of the So and So Giant Woman or like big bug movies or alien invasion movies. They all love that stuff.
You know, I think, not to be like old man yells at cloud, but, I think this is another reason too why a lot of, current day movies haven't resonated with me, and, there are some that I do like, but I just feel like more and more people are just relying on what's on Netflix instead of, actually tracking down these movies, but at the same time, physical media has just skyrocketed in prices, and for less, you pay more and get less, even, in just the last, like, 5 years, it's, like, drastically changed. And so,
Yeah.
you know, I just, I know a lot of, like, film students and film school graduates that, to this day, they have never seen, like, a De Palma movie or a David Lynch movie, and, I mean, if forget about, like, like, there's just, like, no chance they've ever seen a foreign film, just none of them have seen anything, it's 'cause it's not really, like, on Netflix. But then I can't expect them to, track it down because what are they gonna pay, like, $89, bro, for a 4K?
Yeah, it's funny when you mention that because I feel like a lot of times when I hear more modern viewers talk about foreign movies, they're talking about new foreign movies. And that's just like, bro, you're missing like 90% of the best movies that exist on the planet. Like, go back like 20 years at least.
Right, right. So, I had a Twitter thread I wanted to look at, and I'm gonna share my screen here. Let me see. I haven't done this in a while, so there we go. Okay. I don't know why I always think I'm gonna ruin the stream trying to find the tab, but this person, it looks like they deleted their post. I wonder if it's because I commented on this post quite a bit. I think you did too, right?
Yeah, it probably
But
just got out of hand because it was going and going and going. Yeah.
yeah, well, oh my god, did they delete their account too? Because it said, sorry, this post was deleted by the person who originally posted it, but it looks like their name up here is deleted. So,
It's possible. Yeah. I mean,
oh my
if
god.
I remember this one, he had a very like long winded kind
Yeah.
of post, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was very long-winded, but, I just, we're not gonna go through and, like, read all the comments, but maybe we'll, take a look at a few, but, you know, um, I guess just to give everybody that's listening an overview, the post was originally, "Could 4K physical media become much cheaper in the future?" And, me and you kinda talked about this at length, but the answer is yes, it could. Will it? Maybe if you guys start paying $3 million for it.
That's pretty much the best answer, yeah, because the whole thing that you and I were kind of responding to people about was how the only reason that it's expensive is because everybody has like kind of bent over and taken it basically to for lack of better words. They've just kind of submitted to like these price increases, and the worst part about that is like, as someone who has paid a lot of money for one movie before, that it's not inherently like something I'm against if I have to pay a lot for a movie, but what they're giving you for your dollar, like for the by and large, is just, it doesn't equate to the price. It just doesn't. Like I'm not even talking about the stupid stuff. I don't care about slipcovers or boxes or tchotchkes. That's not what I'm talking about. Like the 4K format, by and large, is very it's very faulty. Like the technology just really isn't perfected. There's a lot of data on those discs, and it can make it difficult for players to read them. Um, and then on top of that, like just the actual physical product itself, with with the case and all, the actual Amaray case, it's really cheaply done. So there's just not really a good reflection of the price in the actual product you're receiving. And that's pretty much what, you and I were kind of commenting to people. And it's just kind of depressing because their replies are all very much just like, um, what's that meme, Nasser? They're like, please, bro, like you don't understand, please, bro. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
like that. They're just like, no, you have to buy it. You have to pay the full price, or they're gonna take physical media away from us, bro. Please. Like it's just
And
like
you
you
know,
guys have no standards. Like you guys
you
have no standards.
I just want to say something before I forget it. That something when me and you had talked about this, um, you made a good point where like totally random example. I'm not picking on anybody here. Vinegar Syndrome, let's say, they'll release a 4K and they're like, it's 44.99, bro, please. And then just a few months later, all right, guys, now it's gonna be 21.99 in the sale. And then a few months a few months after that, another sale. Oh my god, it's like it ends up being most of the time 21.99. If you were fine selling it for 21.99, why wasn't that like the starting price then? Why does it always have to start with like this big outrageous price?
Yeah, and here's the thing: like, I don't pretend to know the logistics of producing these things and how much money they have to invest to do it. I'm sure it's a lot, and I'm not even saying that they should make no profit off of the product. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just know what I've been paying for physical media for the last 30 years, and I know that the price increase is not justified. They're giving you less. It's cheaper product. It doesn't make sense. It's
Right.
just
Like
taking advantage of like collectors and the niche of that hobby. And I get it from like their perspective. Like, hey, these people will pay $50 for a steelbook. We might as well charge that. I get why they do that. I can't understand why people like just bend over and take it. Like, I don't know why they do that. Like, I know because one of the things is, there's a lot of layers to this, but like there are certain people in this community who are very like collector driven. They just want to have everything. They just want to have the nicest copy for their shelf. And I just feel that they bring like bad things to the hobby, because for people who just want to have the movie and aren't really concerned about all that extra, how it looks basically, or how it presents, like as far as aesthetically, like we're having to like pick up like all this BS that we're having to pay more because because you allow them to like you know charge you these prices and you pay them.
right. Right. And like I just can't stress this enough though. Like they charge such a high price for a disc that constantly freezes, and you have to go through all sorts of trickery to maybe hopefully it won't freeze. And then the case is just the cheapest, like thinnest case. I don't have one 4K that won't just pop out of its case. I actually just jotted down the other day how many I needed so I could replace them all with Blu-ray cases because
Yeah,
I just
you know what I
can't
wanted to
stand it.
mention, bro? So unfortunately, without doing like just bringing the stream to a halt and pulling up a bunch of stuff online, I can't give you a specific here, right? But I have a general idea. Back in 2020, I think it was, Warner Brothers released the Lord of the Rings extended edition on 4K. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah.
Now, did you buy it, bro? I feel like you did.
Yeah, I do have the Lord of the Rings 4K.
Okay.
I've still never seen
Do
it though.
don't you remember paying roughly between 80
Like
and $90 maybe?
I think 75.
Okay. The reason I'm mentioning this, because I know that that has, I believe it would be 6 discs. I can't remember if it has theatrical and extended. That's a little
Yeah, I think it has both. I mean, I've got it right here.
okay. Yeah, tell me how many discs are in there.
Yeah, let me see this thing. So this is let's see. I'm opening up the case right now. Let's see. We got one disc, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine.
9 discs, and it's all 4K only, right?
Yeah, I believe so. It's 4K plus a digital code.
Okay, right. So I'm trying to remember. Well, I mean, because the whole point I was going to bring up was that Nightmare on Elm Street set recently came out, which I did have for a little bit before I decided to sell it off. And my big like argument for that release was I don't like that they made it 4K only. I wish there was a Blu-ray counterpart with the new restorations. But I was always turned off by the price. It got down to maybe like the $70-$65 range on sales over the last few months, which I thought was better value for what you're getting. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be 8 discs. You get the 7 movies plus, I think, a bonus disc of
I
features.
think so.
I don't think that that's terrible value. I think that that's where it should have been from the get go. But at the same time, I don't know, man. Like, okay, because like I don't want to misquote things here. I'm just saying, I remember back in the day in the 2000s when I would want to buy a brand new DVD or a CD for that matter. The day that it would come out, it would be on sale. It's like, hey, buy it today for like $15 because after next week, when it's no longer a new release, it's going to go up to $20. So they drew you in with a cheaper price at the beginning, you know? And like
Yeah.
I just feel like the mentality these people have is like no, you got to pay like the max price to like encourage the studios. It's like I don't know, it's like they think that like it's almost like they're treating it like no, dudes, you got to like let them know that we appreciate them and that we're their buddies and we're their friends and we like what they're doing. It's like, dude, this is a product. You're a consumer. You need to like actually make decisions with your wallet. Like and I know that everybody in this chat kept like implying that I was suggesting to boycott, which is not what I said. I never
Right. Like
said that. I think
I'm
boycotting is cringe. All I
I'm
was
gonna
saying was don't like don't encourage this by like just blindly supporting it. Like at least you don't have to do it for every release, but if there's a movie you want and you're not happy with what they're giving you, which clearly these people will take anything, but if you're not, if you
right.
have an issue with it, it's okay to say, "Hey, look, man, like I don't think that this is, a good price. I'm not going to pay for it." So then they'll say, "Hey, you know what? Maybe we went a little too extreme there, charging $34.99. We'll put it on sale for $27.99." But is that so bad? Is that ruining everything?
I'm gonna read a few of these here, just a few. So this is where I came in, and okay, well here actually let me read the one above me first. So this person says, if anything, because their primary market is collectors, they can get away with making the pricing even more prohibitive. And I said, if everyone stopped paying such high prices, this wouldn't be true. And then I just hate this mindset of the dude that follows me. He says, if everyone stopped paying high prices, they might stop making the media altogether. This is just where I want to say, like, do you realize how stupid you sound? It's like this meme I saw one time that was like about like if YouTube had like a feature that like reads your comment back to you before you like post it. And then the guy realizes how stupid he sounds. Like I wish that was real because there's just no way they're gonna just stop making the media altogether. Like I'm almost at like a loss for words because I just like I don't know how to like answer something so stupid. But it's funny the
Like
next reply. Oh yeah, go
well,
ahead.
here's the thing. Like um, that's not the whole truth with what they're trying to say here. Like, okay, first of all, like when it comes to like these studio releases, most of the time those things are readily available at Walmarts, okay?
Right.
And like I'm not saying Walmart doesn't have their little sections for like the collector people. Like they have their little like Stranger Things end caps and their little like Terrifier merch, like whatever. Like I'm not saying that they don't like entice collectors, but I just to assume that the entire physical media section is only meant for collectors, that's ridiculous. They obviously want people to purchase these that are normies. Like that's the demographic any business is aiming after at the end of the day. They want the regular person to buy it. That's why there's $5 bin DVDs. So people will just impulsively buy those. Like, oh, I don't have Jumanji. It's only $5. I'll take it. And the thing is that like people like hyperbolize everything. Like, yes, most people stream. That's true. But there are a lot of people who don't for different reasons. There's people who are on the road, like living an RV life, and they're big customers for DVDs. And there's people who don't have internet in some rural places. Like, there's a market for people who need physical media still. So it's not just for collectors. Yes, they make collectors editions. That's true, but it's not just for collectors. And I don't think that they would solely keep the business alive for like some little niche hobby. That's silly.
Right. They sound so pretentious. They wanna make it seem like we're the only ones that deserve to see these movies. We spend $70 on them.
They don't even think it. They don't. But that's the thing, is they don't even think $70 is a lot. They don't- like
I
they don't have any self awareness. Like it's just, I don't know.
They
They,
must be
they,
all like doctors and lawyers.
that's not even it, dude. Like you don't remember
No, I'm
that
just
one chick who there's that one chick on YouTube. I don't think she's ever lived this down. When she made a video like, yeah, so I have to stop buying DVDs because I'm like $50,000 in debt for my credit. Like
Oh, I think
that's
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, that was like a big thing, and it's brought up constantly because it was very silly. Like, it's like, how does this even? But if you watched her videos, it's very easy to see how that would happen. She was like buying, well, I got to get the steel book and I got to get the slipcover edition, and it's like, okay, you do that for a movie you love. I get it. Like, I really liked, the Princess Diaries. I want to get the nice edition and I want to get the standard one. Okay, fine. But for every movie that comes out every week,
Right,
that's silly, dude.
I mean, maybe I would do that for, like, Cat People or Jennifer's Body, but, like, that definitely not, like, every movie.
Yeah, because I've dipped my toes into all these waters at some point. I've collected multiple editions of movies. And I remember like I got the Child's Play 4K, the original bundle from Scream Factory, the same one you got. But then I also bought the Steelbook from Best Buy when it came out a few months later. I was like, well, this is cool. It has like the original artwork, and I love this movie. But I wouldn't do that for every movie. Like, it's some people just get really caught up in like um the kind of community like vibe of it, where they're just like seeing everybody else bought the Dollars trilogy, so I guess I have to too. It's like, you don't though. You don't have
Right,
to get
and,
it. It's not gonna. You're
I've
gonna sleep fine at night if you don't have it.
I've definitely bought, like, multiple editions of movies, but I ended up, selling most of them and only keeping, like, multiple copies of a few, like, for example, The Exorcist. Now, oh my god, so they used to only have I guess we'll call it a writer's cut, even though they call it the director's cut. That was, like, the only version you could see. They didn't have the theatrical cut, which is much better in my opinion. That one that was out of print. So I had, like, 2 copies of that, and then finally, they put out the 4K that has 1 disc of each cut, but it doesn't have a Blu-ray copy. So I kept my Blu-ray copy, of the Steelbook, even though it's only the writer's cut. It's still just nice to have multiple formats, especially because 4K could be a little bit unreliable.
You should
And
have
I
got the Blu-ray, dude. That's the one that I have. It's region free from the UK. It has 4 discs, Blu-rays of each copy. And I mean, I'm gonna assume that one of your editions has this, because there's no way you wouldn't have this. Like, you do have like the many, many, many hours of special features that come with
Yeah,
that
yeah, I
movie,
have all
right?
the special features, yeah.
Good, yeah, because there's still like the one disc I don't have. It's from the 40th anniversary edition, and like some of those more premium 4K editions in the UK included that disc. I think it has a new documentary, and I don't know what that exactly is. I don't know if it's modern people talking about it or if it's like old footage, but I was curious about it. I want to say it had something to do with William Peter Blatty, which would make
Well,
it worth watching.
I'm not sure about that, but I also do wanna say that, now there's a million, different editions of The Exorcist, so I could be wrong here, but I wanna say that when I was, before the 4K came out and I was looking for an edition, maybe it's the one you have. I did want the one that had the theatrical cut, but it was, like, out of print, and I think it might have been, like, the doctors and lawyers, like, edition that was really expensive. I think. I
I
could be
don't
wrong.
remember the situation, but I don't ever remember struggling to get The Exorcist edition that had both cuts of it. But it is possible that it just wasn't readily available. I definitely didn't pay a lot for it, but I do remember I would occasionally at like various used media stores, I would see that 40th anniversary edition, and it probably was in like the $30 range, which, you know, 6 or 7 years ago, that was enough to say, okay, that's a little too much, you know.
Honestly, that could
Or
have been it, 'cause I just remember, like, it was just, like, a bit too expensive, and I had the Blu-ray anyways, um, the much cheaper, one with the Best Buy, like, lenticular cover.
yeah, because there was another edition that was not the 40th anniversary edition that came up before that, and it had both cuts. I don't think that one was ever out of print, but I could be wrong. I just know that the just kind of singular director's cut edition is definitely the readily available cheap one that exists at that time for sure.
Yeah, so there's that, and, also Psycho, I do have, I have the 4K and I have the Blu-ray of that, 2 different editions. I'm pretty sure that the 4K, steelbook with, like, 2 seconds of lost footage, I'm pretty sure that's just the 4K. So, I also have my
The Blu-ray
Blu-ray.
that comes with that edition has the updated uncut version as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think my other Blu-ray comes with, all the sequels too, like, I think I have, like, a
Yeah, I have that edition.
yeah.
That was one of my great downgrades last year. I sold the Arrow Psycho 4K collection for like $140,
Oh,
and
hell
then
yeah.
I bought that 4 movie Blu-ray collection for like $20 from someone on eBay.
Oh, dude, that's so based. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I would assume that the ver on the Arrow edition that's full frame is probably the bonus disc version, but I don't mind watching the movie in widescreen. It doesn't bother me.
I'm actually a widescreen, supremacist. Um,
Yeah, I was thinking about that when you were talking about your It DVD because that one's actually in widescreen when it's supposed to be in full, 143 because um that's the way that it is on the Blu-ray, which is what I have. But again, it doesn't matter. It looks fine.
I wanted to read just a few more. We'll just read, like, a few of these comments 'cause I thought some were funny, but yours was hilarious when you said, "If we all comply, maybe they'll reward us." And then, I don't know,
Yeah,
this
nobody
dude
else thought it was funny, obviously.
I know, yeah, you got downvoted 11 times. At least I gave you the upvote. I don't know, these people are just so, delusional. This dude right here says, "I mean, I get what
Mhm.
you're saying, but companies are already not as inclined to make physical media due to streaming. It is the current group of collectors right now that make it lucrative. If that group of people tries to boycott, then those companies might take it as their stream of income drying up, and might not be profitable enough to continue. Blah, blah, blah." You know why this is so silly? It's silly for like 100
You know
reasons,
what
but
what's weird about that comment, bro?
yeah,
But you know what's weird about that comment? It's like he can only be one of two people. He can either A, be somebody who works at one of these companies who's trying to gaslight people into thinking they
right.
have to buy this, or he has to be extremely delusional to believe that. So one of two things.
I hope he's just delusional, but there is no company in the world, like, this is a great example because 'cause we've both dipped our toes into photography, but, there's no company in the world that when things start to dry up where they just go, "Oh, well, that's it." Like, once, digital took over, I mean, companies still made film, they still make film to this day, they just, they just find a different way, to go about it, They've gotta find ways to be competitive or to adjust. Just because sales dry up, it doesn't mean they're gonna just, like, you know, "Oh, well, we gotta just pack up our bags now," like,
And
it
the
just
way
doesn't.
these people talk about it is they think that it's like at the lowest possible point that it could be before it's going to be over. That's the silly part about this to me.
Right, they act like, "Oh, no, it's all gonna collapse, guys. They need your $1,000 a month."
Yeah.
But yeah, but nobody ever said anything about boycotting. I think I just think the important thing here would honestly just be demanding better, product for what we're paying. Because there's always so many problems with these 4K discs, and also now so many releases are 4K only without giving you the Blu-ray. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think some might even come without a digital code, or maybe I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, no, some of them definitely don't have a digital code for
So,
sure.
and they're charging more because I remember it would be like, Uh, You could go to Walmart and maybe find for like 20 bucks a combo pack that has the digital code, and then now you go in and it's a one 4K disc only, and it's like 30 bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching those 2020 videos last night I was telling you about, and I remember when this was a thing, bro. I don't know that it's still this much of a gap, but it was huge back then. It was Rise of Skywalker. The
Oof,
4K was 29.99 and the Blu-ray was 22.99, bro. That's a huge difference.
that is crazy.
It's a big difference.
I want to find this oh, hold on. This is a good comment here. I want to find a different one, but I came across this one where this guy says a lot of people here sound like they enjoy shopping more than they enjoy film.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Yeah, it's just so funny. I don't know. I have nothing to
But it,
add to
but,
that,
it,
but
but it's but it's true. I mean, that's like
yeah,
what I was saying is like a lot of the people in these communities are just more concerned about um they seem to get off more on having these than watching these.
right. It's like all for the gram. It's like I want to say this might not be the exact equivalent, but I was actually just talking to a friend of mine about this today. There is this huge thing now where people on and I cringe saying it, book talk, where they're like, okay, I read like 30 books this month, guys, and then they finally, like, these book talkers revealed that they only read the dialogue. They only read the dialogue, and it's basically reading for them is it's performative. It's just an aesthetic. It's like, look at me, I have all the Jane Austen books on my bookshelf. Look at me. I have literature from the 1800s. Ooh, look at me.
Yeah,
It's
and
good. It's
that's another thing I had talked to you about in recent times, bro, is and again, different people consume things differently. I'm not saying this is a rule of thumb, but I don't necessarily have a lot of like I don't know. I don't think it's good to like want to cram everything and just be like, "Well, I got to read
agreed.
all of the Stephen King books." It's like, why don't you read one Stephen King book and just sit with it? Just take your time with it. You don't have to rush. It's not a race.
Agreed. I like to spread out the books that I read
Yeah, like
from
let me ask you,
particular
Nasser.
authors.
Let me ask you a question. You probably told me this, but remind me, how long is Lolita? How many pages is that?
I think 309 pages.
And
I'm
you've
like,
been reading it for like many days now. You could have finished that in one day if you wanted to. I know you could.
yeah, I think I've been reading it for like a week now. I
It just like and every time what happens when you read it, you're like so enamored by the little part you read and you keep thinking about it.
Yeah, it's okay, I want to say a couple things here because a lot of people my I can't remember where I first heard of the book or the movie for that matter, but I just remember people would bring it up and have such a reaction as though it's sleazy or some sort of guidebook. Like the way they act about it is like the way you would see what's her name that remember on the news in the 80s when she was like, "Oh, rock
Tipper
music's like the
Gore, Tipper
yeah,
Gore.
yeah, Tipper Gore." It's like the equivalent of like, no, if people listen to your music, they're gonna go kill everybody and worship Satan. Like everybody like always acted like oh no, Lolita, like if you read it, like it'll turn you into and I don't know, people are just psychotic. But I went through my Stanley Kubrick phase 1.0 at the end of 2024 into 2025, and eventually I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna watch Lolita now. I know everybody's said this or that about it, but I like Stanley Kubrick. And when I watched it, it's just the movie. It's a dark movie with dark themes, and the book even more so. And it's actual literature. People will never object to having a book that's from the point of view of a serial killer. Nobody will ever object to American Psycho. Oh my God, it's from the point of view of this serial killer. Oh my God, like nobody ever
You
objects
know,
to that.
this is an
Yeah.
old thing we've talked about, bro, where we've kind of like been like just perplexed at like someone who's like an avid horror fan, but is like put off by like a movie about something horrifying. Like, that just
Right,
isn't something that they're like, it's okay to, like, not be like, not everybody likes the Saw movies 'cause they're not into gore and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I just mean, like, why are you even here if horror is something you can't handle? Like, to, like,
r
try to put some sort of limitations on it. Like, when it comes to art, I don't think there's any room for limitations. I think that it's always supposed to be reflective of your experience in life. And sometimes I don't know. I know a lot of people. You know this probably better than me, Nasser. Like, there's a lot of people out there who like to pretend like there's not horrible things that go on in life every day,
right,
but that
right,
doesn't mean that we have to pretend also. Some of us are aware of this, and if we want to watch a movie with things that are very thematic to what happens in life, that doesn't make it like it shouldn't exist.
right, and, yeah, I just feel like people that they kinda speak like a book like Lolita shouldn't exist, and, I think saying that would just be, ignoring all the times when this does happen. I mean, now more than ever, I mean, we know it does with the Epstein files, and, I have friends that told me, uh, that, yeah, when I was a little girl, like, somebody did this to me or that to me, like, it happens, and, the book is it's just a book. I also want to stress that nobody was hurt in the writing of this book. um it's just like pictures in a book, Danny. It isn't real, okay? But the book is literature, and um it's just I don't know, it's just a well-written book. I want to say I'm like maybe like 50ish pages from the end, and there are some portions that are just so well written. I've just been revisiting them, just trying to figure out how you even come up with that, how you could write something that interesting. It's just very well written, and I'm very close to the end of that book now, and it's so good. I just blind bought a few more of his books.
The
Vladimir
author?
Nabokov.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
I
he?
just
Where is he from? His name sounds like Russian or
Russia.
something.
He's
Yeah.
Russian, and he's written some books in English. He wrote them in English and some in Russian, and then some of his books, when they translated them from Russian to English, he was so dissatisfied with the translation, he sat down like, "All right, I'm going to just translate it myself."
That's great.
Yeah, because I was researching to figure out because with foreign authors, I'm always seeing new editions, like new translation of Franz Kafka or new translation of this, and so sometimes I just do a little digging to see which translation should I go
Yeah,
with, and
can I mention something
yeah,
about that, by the way?
yeah,
Okay, so I know that that is a thing, and I don't know if it's just that things have gotten better over time, but I know that back in the day, like with anime DVDs, sometimes the translations were bad, and I'm just assuming that's because the people that they hired to translate them were just maybe not like, pros or whatever. Like, maybe that's it's just more common now, but I know that, like, whenever I see people be like, "No, you should buy the Arrow Video editions of these Golden Prince movies like Hard Boiled and stuff because they're like they did better translations. And like every time I've seen a modern physical media release from like two different territories and I see the difference of the translations, like, I'm sorry, bro, but it's like very minor. It's like in one, someone will be like I want to go to the park today and explore, and then the other one's like, I want to go to the park today and look.
wait, but so what did you want to ask then? Because I think you said that you wanted to ask something. You still with me, Drew?
No, I was just saying like in regards to like the translation thing, it's always as big a deal as some people make it, but probably back in the day. Yeah, I'm still here. It's just probably just connecting.
Oh, I got you. No worries. But yeah, for the translations, honestly, I don't know. I just look for some websites and reviews and just try and figure out what's going to be closest, and did they happen to change anything. I'm kind of more inclined to go with an older translation, because with a newer one, you just never know what they might want to change in a book or take out. So I'm always opting for an older version.
Mhm.
And with Vladimir Nabokov, of course, it was a no-brainer. Like, I'm gonna, if he translated it himself, I'll go with that edition instead of, the one that somebody else did that he wasn't happy with. So yeah, so
Right.
that's what I'm currently reading. And yeah, I forget. I think we were saying something else and kind of might have gotten like a little bit off topic, but there was I don't know if I don't know if you still had something you wanted to say about that, but there was one comment that I don't know if I could find it, but I did want to like mention it. That was here on the Reddit thread.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so there was one where somebody gives the example of Alien, and I'm just scrolling down real quick. Like I want to see like maybe if I just see if I don't want to derail here, but somebody mentioned like Alien. Like what if they only sold like 10,000 copies, bro? And it was just such a funny here. Let me do it. Let me see if I could do like a Control F for Alien. No, I don't see it. I wonder if they deleted their comment. But do you remember that comment? Because I think you ended up replying to them and they were like, oh, but what if they only sold like 10,000 copies of Alien? That's not a lot of money. Because like at $40, that's like $400,000.
Well,
And I
like
was
what they were like basically they were trying to like break down this math for me, kind of talking down to me like I don't understand how business works, and like the example they gave, I was like, I'm just going to take your example at face value for what you're saying. If you think that $200,000 plus $400,000 is make or break for them, that's really ridiculous. That's neither of those amounts are that incredible that I wouldn't already assume at 400,000 that this isn't worth it to them. Like like for me, like I know that like okay, like with streaming, right? Like one of the things I had mentioned was when they do a restoration, it's going to be distributed on streaming. It's going to be distributed at film festivals, screenings, and stuff. It is
right.
far more than just a physical media release. So that's not really something I take into account. But on top of that, like DVDs, Blu-rays, what have you, those are in libraries for people to like rent out. Those have like value in those places as well. But again, I don't know the logistics of these things, man, but I'm just saying I don't think that a big company like Warner Brothers is like, well, it's got to be like 400,000. It can't be 330,000, or this isn't worth it anymore. Like it can't be that narrow
But
by that
but the
little amount of money.
But the other part too for me is when he's like, "Oh, well, what if they only sold 10,000 of them at $40?" And I'm just like, "Okay, like what is that? Like Tuesday morning in Nebraska? Like they're probably selling like 10,000 of those like each day in every state. Like it's Alien. Like I'm just going with this guy's specific example, and I'm sorry for anybody that's looking at the screen and doesn't see the comment because I really I don't know where it is. It's like somewhere in this thread, and when I searched for Alien, I just didn't see it.
Yeah, but I know your
But
point. Alien
y
is not a good example because it's a movie that's constantly like wanted by people.
right, that was actually the first, 4K I ever bought. I bought the Alien 4K.
Mm.
I don't remember why. I don't remember if it was like, if you were like, "Oh my god, you haven't seen Alien?" That could have been it. But, I just remember, that was the first one I bought, and, um, like, that I think that's, like, probably, like, most people's, like, first 4K, like, "I'm getting into 4K, what should I buy?" "Oh, Alien."
It's one of the best 4Ks. It's a good one to go
Yeah.
with for sure.
Yeah, and it's just silly because I think these people are just underestimating just how many of these things, do sell, how many people buy movies, they might not be like, boutique collectors, buying something from like Vinegar Syndrome or some obscure company, but like those big studio releases, like those are just evergreen. Like those things just like print money, you
Indiana
know.
Jones, Star Wars,
Yeah, dude.
Up, Frozen, the Cars, Toy Story, like there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that keep physical media alive. Like it's not
Yeah.
like I don't know, man. Like I could go on in so many layers, like I said, but people like I think they just make it a lot smaller in their heads than it really is. I mean, yeah, it's not what it used to be. I know it's probably a fraction of what they used to make off of it, but they're not like they're not hanging on by a thread because someone's going to pay like 48.99 on Vinegar Syndrome. That's not the bulk of what the business is.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna stop sharing the screen because I think we kind of I think we kind of got the point across. There's a lot of like silliness in that thread and a lot of simping for big like you know billion-dollar
Yeah, and
companies
like
or it's
I've never followed the 4K Blu-ray subreddit, but I looked at it throughout the last few years, and it's a group of people who are primarily to me more focused on like listen to my Dolby Atmos like surround sound system and like look at how like the picture looks at like I'm watching F1. It's so incredible. Which by the way, F1 does not look incredible. It has a pretty low nit output on it. That's not like really great 4K, but nevertheless, like that, because that was another thing we brought up in that thread, or not that thread, the other one where someone's like, Blade Runner 2049 is one of the best 4Ks that's out there, and it's like, but it isn't though. It's like definitely one of the silliest reasons to buy a 4K version of something when the Blu-ray is fine. But that's how they are. They just like that home theater experience. That's a different crowd than a physical media collector. It's not the same thing. Those people would be just as happy with like Kaleidoscope or some sort of like, different like streaming service that produces like really high like version like high quality versions of these movies and stuff. Like like sometimes it's just easier, I guess, to buy the 4K disc than to
Yeah.
whatever. But even it just that's I think that the 4K community is more concerned about like the kind of spectacle of it rather than the films themselves. And I just don't like those two things being intertwined. That's why I'm just like, hey, look, can you please make a Blu-ray copy? Like, let the 4K people have what they want. That's fine. I don't care. But can I please
Right.
have my Blu-ray copy? I don't need to be a part of this. Don't push me into this. I don't want to be a part of this.
Right, because there's, like, layers to physical media. It's like there's people that sure they just want it for the gram, get the big fancy edition. The rest of us just want the movie. Like, I bought, a bunch of DVDs, from Disc Replay recently, and I'm just like, "Oh, hell yeah, I'm so happy with these." Like, it doesn't have to always be, like, the big fanciest, like, mega ultra edition, unless it's
Yeah,
Evil
and
Tunes.
like that's another thing too is I will give them that is that they do still accommodate just the DVD collector. And in reality, man, I mean a lot of times that really is just fine. Like I know I sent you a thing this morning and we've talked about this a lot. There's a lot of really delusional people that think that DVD is like this archaic like way to view a movie and it looks terrible and it doesn't. Like that for every example you can think of like a really shitty looking DVD, there's also a really shitty looking Blu-ray and a really shitty looking 4K. Sometimes that happens. They don't do a good job when they master and encode it, what have you. But there are plenty of DVDs that are going to look perfectly fine on your player. Like it's
You know
it's not that serious.
We were looking at the thread. I almost want to pull it up. I don't think I will, but we were looking at the thread. I think it was the Criterion subreddit, maybe, or was it the 4K subreddit where somebody was posting about the Stanley Kubrick box set that got announced, and people are commenting about like my bit rate. Drew, I won't lie to you. I don't even really know what the bit rate is. Like, I don't know like what its effect on the movie is, but I'm just like at this point, if you're like arguing over the bit rate of all things, it's like, are you even just watching the movie? Like, just watch the movie. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, none of the discussion is ever about the movies. It's always like my bit rate, my HDR, my I don't know DNR. Like, I don't know, dude. It's I just don't know with these people.
Yeah, I mean like when it comes to that stuff, I don't get that finicky into that territory, like I just like I grew up with VHS, like so Blu-ray is always going to look amazing to me. It just is, and a DVD looks fine to me a lot of times as well. Like I said, um, yeah, sure. If they really encode a disc really really well, which a lot of companies do pride themselves on that, then it makes it for like a more dazzling experience. But like again, man, by comparison, it's not this thing they make it out to be. Like it's unwatchable. It's not that serious. Like it's not like it's like, oh my god, like it's just pixelated and just gross. It's not that serious. It just isn't.
Right? They're like unwatchable.
Yeah, I mean like and I mean, I can't speak on like somebody who's watching on like a 95-inch screen. Maybe those things are more apparent in that kind of circumstance. But I mean, even then, I would just say like, to that, I would say this: I'd rather not have a 95-inch screen if it means that a lot of things are just going to look awful to me. That sounds like I don't want that. Then like I don't.
Oh my
It's the
god!
same
Imagine,
argument I always make to people when I tell them if they're asking me advice on getting like into vinyl. I'm just like, just don't get too audiophile because it's going to ruin it for you.
dude. Imagine Evil Tunes on the 95-inch TV.
Probably look pretty bad. I mean, I think it's a 25 gigabyte Blu-ray disc. Probably wouldn't look that good.
All right, well then maybe they'll have to make a 4K for Evil Tunes, okay? But what I also wanted to talk about, since I did sell off like a bunch of movies, I thought maybe we could talk about like stuff I've sold off and maybe some that you've sold off because I think you've sold off some stuff too recently, right?
Hmm.
So, first one that comes to mind honestly is The Conjuring, and it's because I think I've only seen them like once, Conjuring 1 and 2, and I believe those were also the like cool like lenticular covers that came out in like 2019 at Best Buy. Also rip when Best Buy was selling Blu-rays. But I watched those once and then I remember because I was we were going through my bookshelves and I was like, well, should I sell these ones, you think? Should I keep these? And I was like, I think maybe I should keep The Conjuring, right? They're good. And you're like, you're remembering that they're good, but you forget that the third act ruins them.
Yeah, I rewatched most of the Conjuring movies about a year or two ago, and I would just say that for me personally, like it was one of those franchises that you know, um, because what was that movie I mentioned yesterday, bro? Where I was like, yeah, I remember I watched it, and then I rewatched it. I was like, this isn't as good as I
Oh,
remember. Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Autopsy, yeah.
Yeah, like so, I think that standards have definitely grown. Obviously, that's definitely a thing. But like with the Conjuring movies, I just noticed like I'm like these movies tend to have like a nice kind of like creepy vibe to them for the first two acts, and then they turn into like these really loud, obnoxious like CGI like spectacles, and that's just not something I personally like. So when I was rewatching all of these movies, I was like, oh my god, they all do this, and I hate it. I don't want to watch these. Like, I don't care how good the first two acts are. Like, if a third of your movie is going to be all of this, I don't want to watch this. This is like headache inducing.
Yeah, I think that's why I never rewatched them. I
Like,
think
I would love to tell you, man. I'd love to say to you, yeah, but the first one is good though. Like, is it the least egregious example? Yes, but
yeah.
it still does it, dude. It still does where she's flying around in the fucking chair and like
I just I
running
just
towards the screen.
I just hate that stuff. Like there was one found footage movie, what was it? Devil's Due, where like I really liked most of that movie, but then by the end she's just like telepathically like making people fly across the room and like exploding their heads.
Let me ask you a question. As a writer, you could probably answer this for me because I've noticed this a lot in movies over the years,
Writer, of
right?
course.
Nasser, listen, check this out. You ever watch a movie, bro, and like the setup is like so interesting. You're really liking the characters and the build up and getting to know these people. And then by the time you get to like the latter half of the second act, it's just like you just feel like, well, they had nothing interesting left to say. So they're just kind of like doing a far less interesting movie now.
Well, I think there's a couple things, and I have to say, because I've never written a movie, but I always hear about studio interference or having, the producers want something different. There's always that factor, you can never 100% be sure that that's exactly, what they wanted to do, unless they just come out and say it, but then there's um well, I don't know. I feel like some people want to be flashy by the time they get to the end of a horror movie if they've been pretty restrained. Um,
I mean,
res-
I wouldn't even say it's about flashiness, man. It's like I've seen a lot of movies before where when they're doing like the slice of life world building stuff, all that stuff is very like realistic and it's fun to watch and you like these people.
yeah.
But then when they get to like the whatever, if it's a horror movie, like it just becomes uninteresting and not just like it's a different it's almost like somebody else took over for writing. Maybe it's like you said, it's a studio, but it's like
Well,
it just feels like they shot their load in the first act and a half, basically, as far as making
well,
something engaging.
I just feel like, I know The Conjuring is kind of like pre like TikTok bait and like movies now. I know we said we're not gonna talk about like obsession and stuff. But I just feel like movies now like that are, all like TikTok bait. I kind of feel like maybe like the third acts of these movies were kind of like pre like TikTok bait. I almost feel like with like The Conjuring, it's kind of like the studio's like, okay, like we're just gonna put like the big like cool stuff like this right at the end, almost like the equivalent of like in like a dumb 80s like low budget like Vinegar Syndrome movie where it's like 80 minutes of like okay they're walking around and then like 5 minutes of like gore at the end because it's like all the budget could afford. It's like
Like
that equivalent.
I remember I was talking to Alex about this, and I just have to assume he hasn't rewatched this movie in a long time because his take was terrible. But one movie within the realm of what we're talking about, the Conjuring movies, that does not do this, and I think is just really incredible to this day. I've rewatched it like 3 times in the last like 2 years. Is the first Insidious? I think that movie is fantastic. I don't think there's anything really wrong about it. I think the acting is great. I think the story is great. I think it's creepy where it needs to be. I don't think it ever gets like insane or ridiculous. Like this motherfucker actually said to me, "Sorry, Alex, I love you, man, but this was fucking stupid." What you said. You said the only good part of that movie is when Darth Maul shows up. I'm like, what? That's the only good part of the movie to you? Are you joking?
Jeez, I to be honest with you, I don't even know if I've seen Insidious. I really can't remember.
Take a little time before you watch it because I don't want you to get traumatized seeing Rose burn again and think it's going to be bad. It's fucking awesome. Okay, it's great.
Oh my god, you're never gonna let me live that down. You know what's so funny was
No,
after
I
no,
understood. I completely understood why you didn't like it. Like it was
dude,
one of those things where when you explained it to me, I was just like, "Oh, I never would have thought that this is a thing." I didn't consider that he might not like this part about it. That's crazy. I didn't think about that. I should have thought of that. Like, but I mean, that
well,
was just a difference of how we feel about it. You
well,
got
you know,
nothing out of
one
it. I got a
one
lot out of it.
after I posted my review of if I had legs, I'd kick you. I just kind of like sat there and I thought, was I wrong about all of this?
No, like because um well, the one thing I remember I was trying to talk to you about it because I know sometimes when you're debating someone about a movie, you're asking them like, give me the reasons, like explain me your reasons, and I'm just like I promise you it's this simple. Everything that you think is nothing, I think is something. Like I get something out of this a lot. It makes me feel things, and I see density in this where you see hollowness. It's just like we just interpret it the other way.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
was funny.
So
It's funny.
I don't know, dude. I really think that uh, so many like horror films, like I think they really feel like at the end, I almost feel like when they want to like get all like off the walls crazy, it's almost like they kind of feel like, how am I going to word this? Like, okay, now it's time to really show you the horror. Like, a lot of the times things might be like subtle. And I'm not saying this is necessarily the Conjuring or any specific movie, but sometimes like maybe something like a Rosemary's Baby, like they try to set it up where like, well, is it happening or is it not? Is it on their head? And I just feel like by the end of the movie they want to be like, all right, it was all real, and then like here's the monsters, here's everything. It's
Yeah,
just
like there's a way to do it, man. And I'm not gonna pretend I have like the most amazing, like articulate way to say this, but a movie like The Exorcist, it does get intense in the end, but it's like it's such it would never have worked without everything that came before it being done so well. That's just the best way I can put it.
yeah. Another, let's see, another, because I don't have all the movies that I sold, but I've got like a few of them here, a picture of a few of them here, and that's well, there were a lot of Vinegar Syndrome movies that I got rid of, and
I'm assuming a lot of those were maybe something you wanted to get for the sake of Kino Namicon, maybe.
yeah, that's honestly, to be honest with you, yes, a few of those were ones that um might not necessarily have been recommends from Mark and Hot Dog. For anyone that doesn't know, those are the co-hosts of Kino Namicon. They might not have been recommends from those guys, but either they were getting it too, or I knew they had seen it, or it just could have possibly been a topic.
Hmm.
Some of them were just very kind of shallow buys where if I saw like, oh, blood is in the title, because like I definitely like at like the real peak of when I was really like going all in on this was like I don't know, when did I get my TV? Like maybe like 2022. I got my nice OLED like early 2022. I think that's when I was at like just like my peak because like I
Nasser,
had.
wait. Remember when you were going back and forth with that guy about Blade Runner 2049, and he was like, "Tell me you don't have a nice TV without telling me
Oh,
you don't have a nice
oh yeah.
TV."
That's right. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
The only thing I need is a sound bar. you know. So at least you could get me on the audio side, but not the visual side, okay? Um, um, but what was I saying? Oh yeah. So when I got the TV, I think that was kind of when I was at my peak. So I was just like, oh well, because before I had like a very like small TV and I was kind of like sharing it with my brother. But then like now I had like my own TV, and I got the nice 4K player, if I could call a 4K player nice. um,
Yeah.
but I then I just started like buying stuff like, oh, like blood rage, blood fountain, blood armpit, like
Blood for
bloody,
blood.
yeah, blood for blood, bloody day, bloody bloodbath.
The house that dripped blood off the wall.
The house that dripped blood and the house that leaked blood, like anything. Like the house
Blood
with blood in the wall.
pandemorium.
Yeah. Like oh,
Bloodletting.
I did have that one. I saw that one. I did have
I think
bloodletting.
Alex likes that movie.
Oh my god, I don't know. It was like it like even like the lowest of low, like it would be like Evil Dead Blood. Like I'd be like, oh yes, I gotta get it.
Oh my
Like
god, bro! Let me tell you about this horrible fucking movie I watched last year, dude. I don't ever want you to make this mistake, bro.
what
I'm
Evil
gonna have to
Dead Trap?
shout. Exactly. My friend Mike recommended me that movie, dude, and it was fucking awful. It was
I
so
knew it.
fucking boring, dude.
I knew it.
Fuck that
I knew it.
movie.
I knew it. I knew it
Telling
was
you,
gonna be
man.
trash.
J horror. I don't know, man. I don't know about J horror, man. I'm just saying.
Dude, I think we've already seen like the two
It's
good
like
like
you
J
know what
horror.
J horror is like to me, bro. It's like that joke you make about Joni Mitchell. She just got one good song, bro. That's it.
Right. And even like a lot of like the good like Asian horror movies like aren't Japanese.
Wait. Cure was that Korean? No.
Yeah.
It's not. Is it Korean?
Yeah, it's I
No,
didn't
that's
know.
Japanese. That's
Oh, is it?
Japanese.
Or
No, that's Japanese. Memories of
Memories of
Murder is the Korean
Murder.
one.
Yeah.
But like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, what do I like? Paranormal Activity Tokyo Night. It's not like it's Kino, but it's the best Paranormal Activity movie to me. Did you like that one? I don't think that was
Yeah,
your
I liked
favorite, but
all
you
of
did
them.
like it, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
liked all of them.
that was fun, man. When you did your
Or I
Paranormal
think I
Activity
liked all
athon,
but one. I liked all but
you
maybe
probably
like
didn't
one
like
or
the
two.
Ghost Dimension, which is not
Yeah,
good.
Ghost Dimension. Yeah, that's the
But
only one.
I liked when you did your Paranormal Activity athon. You have the box set, right?
Yeah, I've got the cool box
That's a
set.
good box set. Did you
It's
ever watch the documentary? It's really good.
I can't remember, to be honest with you. Oh my
Unknown
god,
Dimensions.
I remember when you were sending me clips of like the directors behind the scenes. They were just like really cool guys.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But Tokyo Night is my favorite, but like my heart does really belong to the fourth one. What's it called again, man? The one with the Mexicans.
I just know it's the one with the Mexicans.
Yeah, it's called Marked Ones. So good.
Oh,
It's
Mark
so
was,
good.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Being
that one's
like
awesome.
of that ethnicity and growing up around those people, it's so real. It's so funny.
Yeah, dude, it's just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really dig that one.
But I you know what I like to think, bro? I like to think, yeah, Nasser knows what this is like. He worked in that liquor store.
Yeah, I did work in a liquor store for like a year
Because
or
the
maybe a
food
little
was
over
the
a year.
food Mexican food, Nasser? Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was owned by a Mexican guy, yeah.
yeah. So you probably got like some of that lingo around you often and
Yeah,
stuff.
I did all the time.
Yeah, so I figured you'd appreciate that one, but yeah. Sorry, I
Yeah.
don't know if you were going into another topic. I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No, no, I don't think I was, but hell yeah, I love Paranormal Activity. All but one of them.
Yeah, bro, you want me to talk about these movies I picked up today?
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
Okay, so speaking of J horror, I picked up this.
Jeez.
This is an from the After Dark Horror Fest releases. They're labeled as one of the 8 films to die for. Bro, I'm pretty sure I've seen more than 8 of these like over the years. I think this is just a subtitle for a label. I don't know if there's only 8 of them. But it's from 2005. It is directed by Takashi Shimizu, who apparently did The Grudge, Ju-on. So that kind of pulled me in. That it's really that simple. I mean, I've actually had good experiences with the After Dark Horror Fest title, so I figured it'd be worth checking out. This other movie I picked up is called Trauma, and there's a few movies with that name. This one has
Tell me
Colin
it's the
Firth.
Dario Argento one?
It is not. Colin
Oh
Firth
my
and Mina
god.
Savari. It's directed by Mark Evans. I think it was mostly for Mina Savari. I do really like her, so I figured I'd try that. Because these are all family video rentals, former rentals.
Oh,
So
I should also, sorry, I want to mention one quick, it's super quick thing before you go on with this. I want to say I am not a Dario Argento simp, but I did watch that one like a year ago, and that Trauma, and it was really great. That's all I want to say. But most of his movies are garbage. I'm not a Dario Argento simp, okay?
yeah, Phenomena sucks. So
They all
this is
suck.
the Frightening. This is a David Duchovny movie, which is why I picked it up. But there are four topless male guys on the back cover, so I think this might be from his era when he had a lot more um like woman gazing content. Although it's not like it's for women; it's for because
I
he's
know that
gay,
director's
and
name, but
it
I
was kind of
can't
like,
remember what he's done.
oh yeah, sorority babes, slam Bolorama,
Ah,
Nightmare
okay, yeah,
Sisters, like
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
I love a lot of David. I respect David Duchovny. He's another example of someone who loves film and really like has a lot of respect for the craft. I
He's just a
respect
cool
David
guy.
Duchovny. Yeah, I respect David Duchovny a lot. But this image on the back does make me concerned that this might be one of his gay era movies, where it's not that the movie's gay, it's just that he like highlights a lot of like uh you know dudes
Right,
looking
right. Not that there's
sexually like,
anything wrong with that.
no, yeah, it's just not the David Duchovny I gravitate towards. So I don't know, but I figured it's $1, I'll check it out. And this next one is called Roman. Now this one is kind of firing on a few cylinders here. First of all, it stars Lucky McKee, who I love from his film The Woman. It has Kristen Bell, who I also like, and it's directed by Angela Bettis, who I love from May, which is another Lucky McKee movie I love. And it I don't know, I didn't even really look at what the movie is, man. There's like a guy's hand with a rose on the front. It was pretty much just because of Lucky McKee. That's why I got it. So we
Hell
shall
yeah.
see. Um, this next one, okay, so this one it has like a classic looking like whatever the era is, Nasser, 60s or 70s, like amazing horror book cover artwork. It's like this woman screaming with like a guy with his hand over her shoulder. Like it has that look to it, right? So that pulled me in, right? I was like, oh, what's this? It's called Recoil. I was like, what is this? And I'm reading about it. And listen to this.
All right.
Secret government
I'm in.
experiments lead to horror in the hood.
Dude, every word I could not tell like what was gonna follow it.
Yeah, no. Like the back cover, it looks super, super low budget.
Dude, I'm
Like,
looking at it on Letterboxd right now. It's like everything's getting better. It's like 81 minutes.
yeah, like this might be the first thing I watch.
Oh my god, it's
Uh,
the director's only movie. You know, like
oh
this is
yeah,
the
we
beginning of,
know what we're in for. Okay,
right. There's only 13 reviews.
this name I'm gonna say you might know what it is because I know it, but I can't place it. Jack Ketchum.
Oh, he's an author.
That's what I thought. Okay,
Oh, he wrote the books that The Woman and what's the other
that's what I thought. I
before
associated
that?
Darling and Offspring. Okay,
Offspring. I really
that's
liked Offspring, yeah.
that's that's what I was associating with it. That's what I was associating. This movie is called The Lost, and it has Dee Wallace in it. It has uh, the one who really pulled me in was Erin Brown, aka Misty Monday. She's a porn star from the 2000s. I really like. She did a lot of like those kind of like Lord of the G Strings, Playmate of the Apes, like those kind of movies.
Yeah.
And so like I'm really familiar with her, and she's in this movie. I know she had horror, like a horror phase for a little while. So I was like, yeah, I'll check this one out just for that. Robin Sidney is in this also. Charlie's wife, Charlie Band. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
I did pick up a Stigmata again, as I told you when I mentioned it. It's a movie that has some merit to me. So I was like, yeah, for $1, I'll bring it back into the collection. Okay, so this next one, Chain Letter. It has Brad Dourif and Keith David and Betsy Russell in it.
Okay.
It's that's probably everything I could tell you that made me decide to get it.
Yeah, that's
It's
enough.
got bloody
Brad Dourif
disgusting.
alone is enough.
Yeah, bloody disgusting on the back. Excuse me, on the back. They claim. Sorry, I don't know why I'm wording this weird. There's a quote from them on the back, and it says "insane gore." So there might be a gory movie. Okay, this one, bro. This is actually a movie I have not seen. I might have seen it when it came out, but I don't remember it. I think I might have seen this in theaters with my mom, but I really don't remember, dude. The Psycho remake.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've heard
I
about
love,
it.
I love, I love. I would say everything I've ever seen from Gus Van Sant. I think that this is probably, if I had to guess, man, a movie that has been heavily, like, hyperbolically shitted on by the horror community with all their basic takes. I'm sure it's not as good as the original, but I'm willing to bet it's perfectly fine to watch, and I'll probably watch it soon.
You
Okay,
know,
now
that's
this
how it
one. Oh,
turns.
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
so I was just gonna say that's how it turns out with a lot of like the universally hated movies in the horror
In almost
community.
every case, yeah, I would say.
Yeah, and I don't want to interrupt too much, so maybe we could circle back and talk about later, like movies we didn't realize that they hated. I know one I always mention is Child's Play 3, but you go on and
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Now this next one, bro, there is a good chance that you're gonna know something about it because I know you like this director. So I'm just gonna ask anything you do know about the plot. Just don't tell me because I don't know the plot. Okay. This is a movie called Fear X, and it's directed by Nicholas Winding Refn.
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
2002. It has nobody that I recognize in the cast. James Remar. Okay, I know him,
Oh,
but
John
yeah,
Turturro's in it. That's the only one I recognize because he's in
I don't.
Barton Fink, Coen
Yeah,
Brothers
I haven't
movie.
seen that movie, so I don't know if I know him. Maybe I'll recognize him when I see his face in the movie. But I just figured it's Nicholas Winding Refn. I'll try it out for a dollar. Absolutely.
Oh, he was also in To Live and Die in L.A. Oh, but you haven't seen that one, right?
Not even. Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
so this next one is a Jim Wynorski movie, which is why I picked it up. It's one of his, like, I think, sci-fi era movies. This is called Curse of the Komodo. So it has the things I want from Jim Wynorski right here for language, violence, and some nudity. The cast, I don't think oh, Gail Thackeray is in this movie. Holy shit! I'm so glad I grabbed this. She's one of my
All
favorite,
right.
um, like, buxom beauty scream queens of that era. She's in, her. She's in Slumber Party, Sorority House Massacre 2 and 3.
Oh
So
hell yeah.
I'm glad I grabbed this one. That's good news. Although there is a good chance that this is a movie with stock footage from other Jim Wynorski movies. So, but that's okay.
That would
Uh,
actually be based though.
okay, so this is a movie I grabbed called The House of Usher with Austin Nichols, Isabella Miko, and Beth Grant. None of that is why I got this. What is it for?
Oh, Edgar Allan
It's
Poe.
That's not why.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
there's another reason. I'm trying to think of what it was. There's something I know what it was. I'm going to tell you right now because I got to peel this sticker off and it's going to tell me. Some sexuality and violence. That's why. That's why. Because I was looking at this, I was examining. I was like, is this something I want to watch? And I was like, is it sleazy? And I saw that. I was like, okay, cool. I'll give it a shot. Like, it's, but like, I don't know. Like, there's something about the cover. It is like an old, like, Victorian, massive mansion in the background and some modern 2000s blonde girl on the front. I don't know. That's pretty much it, I guess. I wouldn't do that for just any movie, but something about the concoction of things with that one made me want to watch it. And the last one I got here is a movie I've actually heard people say is good, and it's called Christina's House.
Never heard of it.
So it's definitely going to be like, maybe it was in theaters back in the 2000s, but I think it probably had its life really thrive on home video. And this one was directed by Gavin Wilding, who I'm not familiar with. And then the cast, I don't know if I know these people. Allison Lang kind of sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. But they're like relating. Like, some of this cast is apparently from Final Destination. I don't know. I'm not reading the synopsis though. I kind of want to just go in blind. But yeah, I've heard good things about Christina's House, so I was like, okay, it's $1. I'll grab it. So
Yeah,
that's
I
where I'm
just
at.
looked it up too. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it with
But, like,
anybody
at the
here.
very least, bro, you understand what I told you when I said I've never heard of pretty much any of these when I
Yeah,
grabbed them. So that's pretty cool. It's nice to find some, 2000s-esque horror movies. And I can't wait to watch Recoil, dude. I mean, oh my god.
dude, we were talking about this the horror community or whatever, which I stay far away from because they're all a bunch of boneheads. They,
It's a good way to put it, yeah.
yeah, I was looking for a polite word. They're always they always have the absolute worst, just the wrong take, and then a couple years go by and they're like, oh no, we actually like this thing now. Like we are just talking about it with like 90s horror, and then I'm sure because now they're all like, oh, it's actually just the 2000s that are bad, and now and I guarantee you, a couple more years, no, we actually like early 2000s horror.
Yeah, I see a little bit of nostalgia for the 2000s definitely creeping in more and more these days. But I like the one that I really am anxious for, man, is when people finally come around to Final Destination 4. Like it is the weakest one. I mean, I like it more than Final Destination Bloodlines. It's not like
I only didn't see Bloodlines.
Bloodlines is not bad. I don't want you to think it's bad, but it's like it's clearly a movie that has come many years after the last one. You know, it's not quite of the same quality, I'd say, as the originals. I forgot who I was talking to about it, but they were really talking badly about the opening sequence. And I think it was because of how CGI it looks, but to me it kind of has like a stylistic thing. Kind of, it's not that it's like Sin City, but it reminds me of that, where it's like this is clearly a stylistic choice. The way it looks so
Yeah.
not, I don't want to say pretend, but like fanatical, you know what I mean, whatever, you know what I mean, like because they're in like one of those tall towers, you know, that you can go up the elevator and is a restaurant up top, you know. They're in one of those things, and obviously you can imagine that something
Yeah.
happens when they're up there. But you know, you would like that, I think, a little bit, because it's all the 1950s, and they're all like, oh gee golly gosh, and then someone's
All
on
right,
stage
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
singing like, you know, there's like an R&B singer, you know, like ain't too proud to beg, you know, that kind of thing. It's really fun. I think it's fun, but I don't really give a shit about rewatching Bloodlines. I just don't.
Bro, you know how like easily you could sell me on a movie just by telling me like there's a doo-wop song in it.
Yeah.
But you know, I just real quick, I did look up Bloodlines. It looks like it's streaming on HBO Max, so maybe I'll watch
It's
it.
not going to be a waste of time, man. You'll have
Yeah.
fun with some of the kills, you know. You know, it's not as good as the other ones in my opinion, but what I was trying to say before was that it's not like it's a better movie than, I'm sorry, it's not like part 4 is a better movie. That is the weakest one, but it has all these things I like. It's from 2009. It's just
Yeah.
is there any horror movies in 2009 that I don't love? That's just my year, you know that.
Dude, every movie you've recommended me and you're like, it came out in 2009. It's always like 4 to 5 stars.
Pretty sure The Loved Ones is 2009. It might be 2008, but it's one of those years.
No, I'm pretty sure that's 09.
Sorry, you broke up there. You said, I'm pretty sure what?
Oh, I'm pretty sure that one's 09.
Oh, yeah. And just to be clear, if I say you broke up, it's not that you broke up, it's that my connection broke up. And as a result, you broke up.
Oh,
You know,
oh, oh,
it's you're not roboing, I'm roboing, and I'm hearing you robo.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah,
But
I
you
do
said
like,
it was 2009?
yeah. And
Yeah, of
I
course.
do really like Final Destination. I watched them years ago, and
Do you have a ranking?
I forgot like 99% of what happens. So I think maybe I might have ranked it on Letterbox.
I
Let me
remember
see.
those movies so well. My favorite one is the third one, followed by the first one, then the second one, then the fifth one, and then the fourth one.
Um, okay, here was my ranking. I did actually rank it when I reviewed five. So I said three, one, five, two, four.
You put two a lot lower. That's interesting. That's like usually people's favorite one. But the thing is Final Destination 2 does do everything right. There's nothing wrong with it. It is like probably the best one, just like objectively. But you know, I put other things over it. Like 3 is my favorite because I have like a bit of nostalgia with it. I watched it a lot on DVD when it came out. I do really like Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think the roller coaster accident is actually pretty creepy. There's just a
Yeah,
lot of
that
things
stuff is
that
all
kind of
great.
work for me. And of course, you have like a lot of, you know, emo like people in that movie. That's me. That's like my crowd in high school. So there's a lot of things about that I like, but it's not a better movie than part 2. But I do like it more than 2.
Let me see. I just found my review of the Final Destination. I was like, why didn't it come up with Final Destination 4? Then I remembered it's titled The Final Destination. So I did
Hmm.
give it 2.5 stars, and I watched this December 7th, 2024. For reference, today's June 19th, 2026. So this was my review of part 4. these movies are all entertaining. I don't hate any of them, but I'm tired of the rehash. It's just the same movie 4 times over. I just want something different. It's always the characters going, "We need to figure out the order. Now we need to skip around, break the chain."
Yeah,
And yeah.
that's what you're gonna get with Bloodlines, by the way. So at least you're gonna get what you want.
Well, you know what? I like I said, I know I gave it 2.5 stars, but there's none of them that I like, actually disliked. I just kind of wanted something different, but I'm pretty sure I did also watch them all like 5 days in a row. Like I just sat down and after
Yeah,
work each day I watched them. So
you're gonna get like a little bit of lore in part 6 in Bloodlines. I mean, I don't really, you know how I feel about that stuff. I'm not into lore really. Like when it comes to those movies, because there's gonna be, I'm gonna feel that way about certain things too. But in regards to Final Destination, I do just want the same thing every time. That's what I want from
yeah,
it.
I think a couple things here. Like if I think maybe if I had like spread them out, I wouldn't have been so. Can I just get something different? It's just because I watched them all like in a week. I watched all 5 of them.
The very least, what I could say from that experience watching them back to back, 4 is going to drag you down a little bit because it doesn't have anything too like phenomenal as far as its own identity, whereas the previous 3 all have something like, the cast I think is best in part 1. I think that's the
Yeah,
best cast, and like
and
part
also,
2
dude.
has like a great pace to it. It's just like it does all the things you'd want part 2 to do, bigger, better in every way, and then like part 3, it's just a really great time capsule. And it's just, I love how dark that movie is. Not like today where everything's
Yeah,
like you can't
right.
see it, but it's like got a like it's at night a lot. You know what I mean? I like that about it.
Right. It's like dark, but it's properly exposed. But
2000s dark is my thing, dude. Because
yeah.
I think everybody is like, oh my god, I'm so happy that Scream 4 is on 4K now and they took out the stupid blurry filter. It's like, bro, I love the blurry filter.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, but you know what? Also, Final Destination made by Film Bros, because in that first one, they're all named after film directors. Like
Oh
one
yeah, that's right.
character,
All the
yeah,
cast. That's right. You're
yeah.
right about
One
that.
character's named Hitchcock, another one's named Murnau for F.W. Murnau, a pretentious silent film director.
Hell
And I'm
yeah.
trying to think of the rest of the cast, but yeah, they were all named after film directors.
Can
And
you imagine if they
also,
did that today, man? And then it's just like one of them is named like what's that round-headed guy, Ryan Johnson, or like one of them's like named after like Jordan Peele. Like it'd be so cringe if they did that now, dude.
I am cringing now.
Remember that?
Oh my
I
god.
know we're not going to talk about this movie. Remember that motherfucker put his fucking last name at the bakery in that stupid Obsession movie?
Oh, the bar, yeah. Oh my god, dude. And everything I've been writing since um I don't know, 2015, I think. It's like 11 years now. There's never one time in my life where I was like, should I put my name in as a reference? Um, but also I wanted to talk about lore. I really hate lore because it's become an extension of ending explained, and I cannot stand ending
Hmm.
explained videos. I think you're stupid if you made
Yeah.
one. Um, but it's just become an extension of that, which is like, no, I have to know like everything about Art the Clown. Please make me wait 4 movies so I understand his deep connection to the glasses. You still with me, Drew, or did you drop out?
It just slowed down. I was hearing what you were saying, and then all of a sudden it was quiet. I was like, "Oh, he finished, and he's waiting for me to respond."
Oh no, yeah, I was just talking
Yeah,
about
there's like I want to know as little as possible about Art the Clown. I'd rather be able to take away what I do know if I could.
yeah, they the first one is pretty, it's okay. But the more this franchise goes on, it just really annoys me because everybody is like treating it as like it's like highbrow, like oh my god, it's like basically literature, bro. And then the way they're trying to drag out the storyline and everything, they just really lost me.
I don't know. They just have like it's like they I don't think they don't know this. Like they're just waiting for him to figure out how to explain it. It's not like he knows. They're just waiting. Like, all right, man, just take your time. Let us know like what you come up with. Like, and that he's not going to come up with anything that interesting. Like, it's just
It's
he's
like
not he's not a writer. Like, at least he's. I mean, come on, man, he's not.
I don't know, dude, it's just so lame. It's just like imagine like getting to like I completely these movies aren't even in the same ballpark, but I'm just random example. First one that comes to mind. I always use this movie for like every example I could think of, but like The Exorcist. It's like imagine getting to the end of The Exorcist and just being like, oh, cool. But I want to know more about the demon. Like I want to know where he comes from, and I got to know everything about the demon and why did he pick them, and oh my god, and are we sure? And like I got to know like all the lore and like it's just I don't know. I just think that stuff's cringe. I don't know if that stuff is just the effect of like Five Nights at Freddy, considering
bro.
I don't know anything
Like
about it, but I know people die for the lore.
Nasser, but listen, you're right about that. And I'm sure that is an exact thing that so many people have said. But literally, bro, in that movie, Damien literally gives you the answer to that question, where he's like basically saying he's saying that he's the devil himself, but acknowledging that like this is just some demon just talking shit. Like like it's just some demon trying
Right.
to like sound bigger than it is. Like
But
it doesn't matter. It's just some demon. That's all you need to know.
that's never like good enough for people because I've seen I've done my like Exorcist deep dives because I go through an Exorcist phase like basically every year, and then I just like watch all the interviews and stuff, and then my algorithm will like feed me all these Exorcist related videos, and bro, the amount of times I've seen like, oh my god, like what did this mean? Like Pazuzu origin explained. I'm just like, and it has like a million views. I'm like, are you people that stupid?
Red Letter
That's like,
Media has a really great joke about this. Like in this case, you might think of like the maid character in that movie. What's
yeah,
her story? That's like the whole thing that they want. They want like everything dissected, every little like nuance like explained. And I don't know, like I don't even know why people desire that. Why do people just like want everything revealed to them as
dude.
far as like art? That's so strange to me.
One of the silliest ones. I might have brought this up in a video recently, maybe, but one of the funniest ones to me is when I've legit seen this from people. They'll watch Jaws and they'll be like, "How come when Sheriff Brody's on the boat and he's trying to like call for help on the radio, why does Quint break it with the baseball bat?" And I'm just like, "Were you guys not watching the movie? Did you not know that he hates sharks? This is his shark. He wants to kill it. He's like, I'm not gonna let anyone come here and kill this shark. I'm gonna kill. Like, did you guys just like miss the whole movie?"
That does seem like it's a little hard to say just because I'm thinking about how great Jaws is, how it's endlessly engaging, but there's probably a lot of people who watch that movie and don't pay attention until something quote unquote happens.
Hey, it's like how like writers and directors these days say that streaming services are making them like they have to like write the script so that the characters have to like, even though they already do this all the time these days, they have to like restate the plot out loud, but
What's to
specifically
stop them,
because
Nasser? Like, what's to stop them from doing that to older movies and just adding ADR and stuff? Like, what's to stop them from doing that?
I don't know.
I mean, we can't say integrity because,
Nobody has integrity.
okay. So I think I told you this, but there was this Reddit thread where somebody was asking if the Limit Pre 4K was good, and I had left a comment. I said, "Yeah, it's really good. It's the best it's ever looked." Only problem I have with it is they do have a little like sensitivity warning at the beginning, but it's something that passes real quick. Other than that, it's perfect. And like somebody just decided to like extremely project onto me, calling me
Oof.
like sensitive and saying like it's not a big deal. It's a couple seconds. It's for this purpose. And I'm just like, okay, like whatever,
Dude,
dude.
I just
Like because the whole thing is that like I'm sorry, bro. If I can be frank, it's really, really dumb to have to tell someone, hey, there's a part in this movie where someone slaps a woman. That's bad. Like
right.
who wouldn't know
Like
that from watching it?
like they act like, oh no, somebody saw it in this movie, now they're gonna go do it. Like I remember years ago I had a video of this on my old channel. But Turner Classic Movies turned into like Triggered Classic Movies because they were like, I don't want to like butcher all the details, but I just remember they were just talking about like old movies. Yeah, we know they're problematic and we're sorry. And I think they were even talking about like editing stuff out, and it was just like really depressing.
There
And
was like a little period, Nasser, right, where people were like raging over Gone with the Wind. right?
Yeah, but I've never seen it, so
Great movie, great movie.
okay. Yeah, I've debated
It's
reading the
I know
book.
it's gonna be a little difficult for you to, like, commit to it because it's very long. Watching
Well,
I think it has an
you
intermission, like,
uh,
you know, you could,
okay.
take a break.
Well, the thing I always, like, dread, like, oh my god, like, a 3-hour movie, and then I just every time I watch it, I just like a 3-hour movie, I just I never regret it.
If it's a good 3-hour movie,
Yeah,
dude, it's
if
not
it's a
gonna
good
fucking
one.
matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, like, Tess goes by in, like, 2 minutes.
I don't want Test to end, I love it.
Oh my god, I love Tess.
Mhm.
Just fantastic movie. Oh my
One of the
god,
best I've ever
yeah.
seen for sure.
Yeah. Wonderful movie. Um, but, oh, yeah, but, on, like, censorship and stuff, yeah, dude, it's just really lame, and, I just feel like people putting in these, like, trigger warnings at this like, they've started doing that in, like, books too, where they're I
Mhm,
just think that's
mhm.
silly. It's like, it almost to
Like
me is like it just trying to make it seem like this stuff didn't exist. Like, you can't
Li
apologize for the past.
here's the thing that bothers me the most about it, man. Because obviously, you and I are not the kind of people who get offended by words in a book or pictures on a screen. But here's the thing, bro. I don't know why anyone would appreciate that unless you were talking like, and I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm not even gonna say that because that doesn't even matter. The point is okay, look, okay, if you're still selling this product, then you stand by it. You don't have to tell me, oh, I know that this part about it is bad. It doesn't matter. You decided you wanted to make money off of it anyways. So you're not fooling me that you have some sort of issue with this. You still stand by it. And you should, because it's just a fucking movie. It's just art. It's not something that's actually going to hit you in the face. It's
Right.
just a movie.
It's just like pictures in a book, Danny. It isn't real.
I always found because I remember I told you this I've told you this story many times, man, but I'll just never forget the first time I interacted with someone like this when I tried to recommend them a Clockwork Orange and they started raging at me, and I'm just like, what? Do you know that I'm talking about a movie, right? Like, I was so shocked. I could not believe someone was offended by a fucking fictional story. I was so like just blown away by it. This was happened when I was like 17. I was like, really? What?
That that is uh that is just pretty strange. I don't know, dude. Like, there's just I don't know. There's just nothing that's
And
that's
we talked about this, I think, on this streaming before, man. But like, I'm personally always intrigued by like a lot of this horrific stuff. It's interesting to me.
yeah.
Like when I was a little boy, man, I couldn't have been more than 7 years old, and I was like, oh my god, I want to see Faces of Death. They said all this stuff, and this is real. Like, I wanted to see it, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my god, this is
You,
fucking
you
crazy.
know, for me, I've always, well, not these days. More like when I was a kid, I was like always very scared, and that's why I didn't watch many horror movies until I was like a teenager. But even when I was little, I was just like curious about scary things, and I just remember being little, like really wanting to watch Chucky, and my parents caving and letting me watch Chucky, and I thought it was really cool, and me like pretending to be brave after, like I wasn't scared at all, mom, trust me.
Hmm,
but
that's so
but
funny.
then like I would just be scared about like literally anything I would watch because then I saw Freddy versus Jason with my sisters, and I was like 8 years old and I was like terrified like peeing my pants.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I the two movies I really remember being scared of as a kid. Three, four. Child's Play at first. Then I watched and I loved it. uh, Pet Cemetery because sorry, but I am a bit scared of people who are deformed. It just creeps me out. Um, no, there's only three that I can think of. The other one would be The Exorcist, but that's just because like I grew up Catholic and my mom really like sold it to me like about how this is about the devil and stuff, and it freaked me out, But um, I mean, I watched all those movies and I kept watching them. I loved them.
Yeah, but like anything that just has dark themes, whether it's horror or thriller or some sort of drama or anything, if the themes are just dark, that's just what always has attracted me to a book or to a movie. So that's just what interests me. And I'm just like not someone that tries to pretend like these things don't exist, especially in current day when it's all broadcast to our phones. Like, imagine all the
Mhm.
horrors that have gone on before we could see it on our phones, but especially everything that's happened in Gaza and Lebanon, and um, also with the Epstein list. Even though they've censored it to hell, and they've tried to keep as much of it away from us as they can. These things do exist. They do happen, and honestly, you just had to be a fool to
You
pretend
you
that
uh
these things don't
you
happen.
you were making a great point, man, which I think I might have cut off, but I just wanted to make sure I stated it to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said something, and this is so true. Like it was a response to me talking about the trigger warning at the beginning of movies. Is it's it's very disrespectful and very wrong to try and make light of bad things that have happened in the past. You don't properly learn from those mistakes when you try to bury them like that.
Right. Like, I don't have to be warned. Like if I, because, you know, when I went through my first like pretentious phase was when I first discovered Turner Classic Movies, and they had Peter Bogdanovich was on there, and they had done like a long
Was he
podcast
like a
interview with him.
horror host or something? What do you mean,
Well,
bro? Was he like a horror host between the movies?
well, no, you see, they had they they had
I'm
done a
just picturing him
podcast
sitting
where
in his chair like in The
well,
Sopranos and being like, "Today
well,
we're going to be watching a Fellini movie."
well,
And
no,
this is
no, not like that.
God, I love him in The Sopranos though, right? Sorry, I
Yeah,
just had to
yeah.
pop for
No,
a
yeah,
second.
he is really good in The Sopranos. But okay, so they did a podcast like interview series with him. I don't know how many episodes it was, like 8 or 10, and they were just advertising that. They were like,
Mhm.
we have this coming out with Peter Bogdanovich, listen to our podcast, and which none of the podcasts they've released since then have been anywhere near as good as that one. That was just like
Mhm.
God tier, by the way. But I listened to that podcast and some other interviews from Peter, and they also had shown some silent films on Turner Classic Movies. Now I wasn't really a pretentious film bro. I was always a horror bro, but I really wanted to be a better writer because I was a really bad writer. And I know Peter had talked about, kids these days won't watch older movies, they won't watch silent films, they won't learn older storytelling techniques. So I dove right in, and I was like, well, let me see what there is to find. Even though silent films, yes, they are boring. You're not missing out on anything, Drew, by not seeing any of them. Um, but there's just so much out there, and so much I um learned about storytelling by diving in. And now, the reason I bring all this up is just, I just do not need a trigger warning if I'm going to turn on, an old movie and see that a guy has painted his face, with shoe polish.
Mhm.
Back then, clearly people were not inclusive and might have treated people um, of other races very, extremely poorly, and those jobs were not available to a lot of them, to most of them, to pretty much all of them. And people did these things like painting their faces black, and I don't need an apology for it. I It happened, and it just
Yeah,
really
because
makes
like,
light of
but
it when
because
they
at the end of the day, bro, at the end of the day, like as long as you're a rational person, if it bothers you, you could just say, "I don't like this," and you turn it off. It's just that
right,
simple. It's
right,
like it has no power once you press stop.
right. And it's just people, I just don't understand why they think like their audience is going to be so impressionable. Like, oh no, somebody gets shot in the movie, now they're going to kill everybody. Like, you know, um, uh, people will always cite like the very few examples, like Stephen King's book Rage, which is out of print. I know, I remember a conversation when we talked about this, and you're like, I know this isn't it, but every time you mention Rage, I always think of the Rage Carry too. But Stephen King's Stephen King's book Rage, which is his only book that's out of print. I somebody shot up a school or something and had a copy of that book, and so Stephen King was like, "No, it must have influenced him. I'm going to take it out of print now." Like, people just don't understand. If somebody was, crazy enough that that book inspired them, any other book would have eventually inspired them. If it even did, half the time that's an excuse because people are they just want to say, "Oh no, I was not guilty by reason of insanity." But people are also so stupid that they think getting that not guilty by reason of insanity
Like
plea will just
everybody wants
yeah,
like this like very deep ending explained to everything. It's like that Chris Rock joke from back in the day, like whatever happened to crazy? Some people are just crazy, And I mean,
right,
I say that as a joke because like some people just have problems. They're just mentally unwell. And it isn't a book's fault while they're mentally unwell or a song's
Right.
fault. That's not what it is. But people just want an ending explained. They want to be able to point and be like, it's your fault, Ozzy Osbourne. If it wasn't for you, my
All
child
right.
wouldn't have done this.
Right. Which, by the way, it clearly says enjoy life.
What does? I'm sorry, I missed the
In the
joke.
song, when Ozzy's song, it says enjoy your life before it's too late.
You're talking about
But
Suicide
then,
Solution?
I can't remember the name of the song, but like people,
Suicide Solution?
yeah, what is that? What? Because the song
That's
people
the song
probably
in
said,
question. That's the
well,
song in question, yeah.
it's I can't remember, but it's one of Ozzy's songs where I just can't remember the title of it, but it says enjoy your life before it's too late. But somebody said, I thought the lyrics said end your life, so I killed myself in their suicide note or something.
Okay.
You haven't heard of that?
And I don't think it's probably something that I started reading. I was like, this is stupid, and I stopped.
Yeah, it is. It is very stupid, but like the point is, like, it's not a song's fault. Like people are uh just unwell sometimes. But I also feel like some people kind of want to say, oh, it was like the book's fault. It just as an excuse because they think it'll just get them off scot-free, but they don't
Sure, I'm
realize
sure
that if
some
they're
people who get in trouble and are trying to
yeah,
figure out how to get out of it, they'll make up shit to try and make
yeah,
themselves look.
yeah.
I know this is like a weird thing to say, but I'm just being real. Like like people when they're like whatever, there's a trial and they're like confronting these people and trying to get answers. Sometimes they're just very impassioned and angry and they just want to yell at them, right? But like one thing I've always liked about Jeffrey Dahmer's interviews is he doesn't seem to like not take any accountability for what he did. Like, you know what I mean? He just like will straight up tell you like, yeah, I what I did was horrible, and the reason why is just because I'm horrible, and this is what I was like growing up, but it's not anyone's fault. I'm just an awful person. I'm ashamed of myself.
Oh my
Like,
God,
you know what I mean?
what's a good book? Damn it, I'm forgetting the title. I think it's probably just called like A Father's Story, but his father wrote a
His
book
dad's
about,
book. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
excellent
Haven't read
book.
it, but I'm aware of it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, excellent book. I tried watching. They did a mini series on Dahmer. I don't know, within the last couple of years. I just I
I watched
couldn't.
it. I watched all
I
of it.
did. I didn't really like it. I just kept getting bored by it. But
It's something that would have been fucking awesome as a movie. There's a lot of shit in
yeah,
there I just
you know
don't really
what?
care about. There's some actors I'm not really enjoying when I'm watching them. Like I think Evan Peters is great. I think he
He's
did a great
great.
job.
Most of whoever was around him, I just did not care for. When he's on screen, I liked it. Anybody, I
Yeah,
didn't
like
finish it, but anybody else
like
probably did too.
it's like it's a good reason. Like it only fueled my feelings about why I don't like long episodic miniseries. I'm just like I didn't need to watch 10 hours of this. I would have loved it if it was like 90 minutes or 2 hours, whatever. Like there's a lot of good in there, and there's also a lot of shit I just don't really care to
But
watch. It's just,
they also did a miniseries on Ed Gein, and I did like that one.
I didn't watch it. Is it the same series, that monster series?
Yeah, same
Mm.
series. So
Who
I
played
did.
Ed Gein? I feel like I remember hearing about that.
I can't remember his name, honestly, but
Okay.
it was really good. I actually really enjoyed that one. But
Okay.
oh man, yeah, I went through my Dahmer phase last year after reading that book, and then I like watched like a bunch of like YouTube videos, like his interviews and stuff, and
Hmm.
the court outburst when the oh my God, that was like a very powerful clip when the lady just starts yelling at him and just starts walking away from the podium in the courtroom, yelling at him, and all got to stop her. She's like, "You were out of control. This is out of control," and she just like starts going at him.
Hmm.
Yeah. You know what, dude? I did not think we
Hmm.
were gonna go for almost
Yeah.
2 hours. And to be honest, I would keep
Oh
going,
yeah, I
but
know. It went by kind of fast.
I've been standing this whole time because I'm doing this at my standing desk. So I'm just like,
Oh
oh,
wow, I didn't know
man,
that. Yeah, no. I mean, we're good,
yeah.
man. This has been a good conversation. It's a
No,
good place to
yeah,
round it out. I'm with you.
this has been very fun. Maybe in the future we'll try to hold it to like an hour instead of two, but this was very fun. It went by fast. I
Whatever
was never there was
works.
no, yeah, there was never a point where I was like, oh, we should end now. But I think we've had a good time here, and we will definitely be doing this again. I don't know if we're doing this weekly or monthly or just whenever we feel like it, but this has been Hot as Love episode 1, and maybe one day we'll have an intro and outro, right, Drew? Maybe.
Maybe, yeah,
You with me? All right.
maybe,
Bye,
yeah.
everybody.